For the past few years, you have been working hard. Your business is thriving, and you are pondering what to do with the financial surplus to protect it from inflation. Or, to put it another way, you have just completed your first exit, or you are currently negotiating its terms. Banks that want to manage your assets, especially if you have informed them that you expect an exit, are trying to get to you through every possible means, and you don't know how to verify the potential of the teams you are talking to. I assure you this is absolutely normal. Once you have wealth, skillfully managing and protecting it is truly a significant challenge. Seeing the spectrum of potential needs my clients require to be addressed, and on the other hand, the number of opportunities the market offers, I believe it is important to examine this carefully and make a very informed decision about whom and how to collaborate with. The wealth management industry has been functioning for decades. Some institutions in Switzerland, London, and the Principality of Liechtenstein have been operating in the market for over 100 years. Therefore, it is a highly developed market with many players. Therefore, I will try to convey as organized knowledge as possible today about what this market offers and what to watch out for. I will talk about the services offered by wealth management, who provides them, how wealth management differs from investment banking, and where to find good advisors. I will also explain how wealth management differs from a wealth advisor, such as their roles and responsibilities. Hello. If you are wondering how to secure your assets and the future of your family, you are in the right place. I have opened over 250 investment accounts in dozens of financial institutions across Europe and the world. I help build family offices and manage the private wealth of Polish families whose assets exceed 1 billion zlotys. My name is Maria Panasiuk, and I hold a doctorate in law and am a lawyer by profession. I am also an entrepreneur and a wealth advisor. I provide holistic advice, that is, legal, financial, business, and tax advice to individuals who face the challenge of managing their wealth. On my wealth advisory channel, Maria Panasiuk, you will learn how to effectively and safely protect your wealth, not only from creditors, but currently from inflation as well. Subscribe to my channel and stay updated. So what services should we look for when entering the wealth management market? And what does wealth management mean? Both investment banks and dedicated wealth management firms provide highly advanced wealth management services and liquid financial resources for affluent clients' accounts. It is definitely worth utilizing these services. But what should you look for? When it comes to traditional investment banking, we most often think of Swiss banking. The oldest Swiss investment banks, for example, Pictet, UBS, Vontobel, and Julius Baer, in no particular order. These are institutions that focus solely on managing the wealth of affluent individuals. They have been doing this forever, sometimes for over 100 years. In Switzerland, of course, we encounter many other investment banks where each client has their own advisor. The bank often ensures that the advisor speaks, as much as possible, in the same language that you prefer to operate in. The advisor also frequently visits the client's country and strives to support your investment decisions. Investment banks, however, offer clients services based on a standard package of strategies that are pre-developed by a team of analysts. This was very noticeable in the first quarters after the pandemic. When asked where to invest clients' funds, a range of strategies was provided, showing potential returns based on historical market conditions developed before the pandemic, which became outdated during the pandemic. Of course, the client can make investment decisions on their own and instruct a bank employee to make specific purchases. One may also choose not to invest in a portfolio but instead decide to open deposits. For the Polish zloty, this is actually the only solution. There is no possibility to invest zlotys in the international market. But what solution is best for you? I most often recommend that clients take advantage of discretionary management services. It involves entrusting funds to a team of analysts. And here is a few notes. Some of you already have your own experiences in this area, and they are not always positive. I am aware of that. I have experienced this myself. So today I will try to tell you where to look for such a team. But let's start with how the market looks. Alongside investment banks that specialize directly in asset management, where wealth management is a core part of the business, there are also banks that, despite lacking extensive expertise in this area, see their opportunity to enter this market, as it is currently growing. Thus, Citibank, BNP Paribas, and HSBC have now joined the prestigious ranks of investment banks. These are large corporate banks that we know well and trust, but our trust is built on the international role of these banks in connecting businesses and serving corporate clients, rather than on effective private banking. These banks currently offer wealth management services among many other services in their portfolio, so one should not expect this to be their specialization. What else should you be careful about? About where your funds are held. Banks hold clients' funds. They provide this service for other financial institutions. This is a custody service. When does it take place? For example, you are a client of Bank A, for instance, in Luxembourg or Switzerland, and you want to hold Polish zlotys. It may happen that the bank will open an account for you, but it will deposit the zlotys in Bank B. Until the outbreak of the war in Ukraine, such a bank accepting zloty deposits was Raiffeisen Bank. With the implementation of the sanctions program, this bank found itself on the brink of being able to meet its obligations, as over 40% of its investments were exposed to the Russian market. And then, from one day to the next, it was frozen. From that moment on, investment banks had to find a substitute for Raiffeisen Bank overnight, meaning they had to find a new bank that would accept deposits in Polish zloty. Okay, those were the banks. They knew what was happening and managed their risks, because they were responsible for your money. But what if you opened an account at Raiffeisen and were not aware of it? The custody service is also provided for institutions such as wealth management. The wealth management team does not hold its clients' funds. The funds are always deposited in a bank. This is an additional safeguard for your portfolio. The role of the wealth management team that manages your funds is to make investments in the market, meaning that this team actually executes transactions on your account, implementing your investment strategy. What is asset management and how does it differ from wealth management? Asset management is a service provided by a team of experts and analysts who specialize in managing assets. By choosing to collaborate with asset management, you entrust your assets to the management of this team, meaning that the asset management team will continue to handle them. They make all investment decisions related to growing your money. Wealth management may colloquially mean the same thing, but in practice it refers to a team of independent wealth managers who, in addition to asset management, can also provide services in the area of family office, such as, for example, estate planning, succession planning, asset structuring in an international environment, or support in obtaining appropriate healthcare, acquiring real estate, and education for children, which are services at the intersection of family office. This is a very broad spectrum of services. However, the main service in which wealth management specializes is the management of assets and investments for affluent clients. It may happen that in the wealth management market, wealth management and asset management are treated as synonyms. Although wealth management will always be dedicated to private clients, asset management can manage both private assets and the assets of corporate clients. Thus, from the perspective of a private client, from your perspective, wealth management will always be closer to your needs. What are the advantages of using independent wealth management services? When you entrust your funds to a wealth management team, your assets are invested in various products available on the market, such as products created by banks or directly on the stock exchange. Independent wealth management teams do not create their own investment products on which they can earn. Therefore, by necessity, the investments of wealth management experts are made directly in the market, in products that have the potential to yield the highest returns while not generating excessive costs for your portfolio, as these would lower the final outcome of your portfolio. Therefore, such wealth management is often referred to as independent asset management in relation to similar services offered by investment banks. These banks also have their own wealth management departments. However, it is important to remember that these same banks create investment products. It may potentially happen in a few situations, and it cannot be ruled out that investment decisions may be not entirely independent. So how can one benefit from the services of independent wealth management? Who has access to such services? Wealth management services are available to clients who possess greater assets, specifically very or ultra-high net worth individuals who have at least $3 to $5 million. However, individuals with a portfolio of $1 million must settle for the services of an investment bank. In summary, wealth management can be a remedy for utilizing the knowledge of good experts and eliminating conflicts of interest, which unfortunately occur just like everywhere else. When choosing a specific wealth management team, it is advisable to select rather large players. If your partner has significant assets under management, they automatically have access to the most attractive offers in the market. And this has an impact on reducing the costs of such investments for you. How do you choose a partner to manage your portfolio? We told ourselves that wealth management operates based on a team of capital market experts who advise clients on how to invest in international financial markets or invest funds directly in the market on behalf of the client. This is known as discretionary wealth management. Imagine a client who has $5 million in liquid assets. Especially now, in light of rampant inflation, his portfolio should not consist of cash sitting in a bank account. The solution is to entrust your assets to a wealth management team that will propose a long-term investment strategy tailored specifically for you, rather than a strategy from a corporate brochure. When choosing the right team, it is also important to check how analysts perform in difficult situations. It is worth looking at their track record. Perhaps the results during the pandemic should not be the measure, as it surprised everyone, but the results from the first quarter of this year certainly should. There has been a lot of talk about the war in Ukraine, and it has lasted quite a while. The protection of the portfolio in case of this circumstance could and should have been anticipated for the portfolios entrusted by clients. When selecting a team of experts, check if they can address ancillary, yet significant aspects like succession planning. The wealth management team should be able to advise on appropriate solutions. And if they cannot provide advice, they should understand the specific needs of the client and their international structure if applicable. Practice shows, particularly among high net worth individuals, that alongside an external wealth management team, there is a need to hire an internal expert or experts, a wealth advisor, who oversees the entire process of securing and managing assets, including the estate planning process. Such an expert may work exclusively. However, she definitely more often supervises the process of asset structuring and wealth management by other teams, which are internal teams. Who is a wealth advisor? How do you choose one? Let's start with a specific case. Back in 2015, at an international conference in Zurich, I met a Polish family that was in the process of developing their international business and building structures in Switzerland. The family was represented by a partner from a well-known Polish law firm, as they recognized that at a certain stage of development, their structure needed an expert with such competencies, and thus appointed him to the board of their international holding. Some families use individuals with financial experience, such as former bank employees, or those with venture capital experience, to build their family office team. Such an approach is justified, but it is a team with rather executive competencies that can be found equally well in foreign external asset management. I think it's good to have someone on the team who can ask such questions, who knows how to talk, for example, about results of investment strategy or costs of portfolio management, about effectiveness of the entire undertaking. But such an expert will not help you in building a holistic strategy for you and your assets. It is important to have on board, or at your disposal, a wealth advisor who is capable of combining expertise in both finance and international structures, and who primarily has experience in estate planning and structuring your portfolio. Such a person, a wealth advisor, should have real experience in working with wealthy individuals. She should understand the business. It would be beneficial if she had actively participated in building the business or engaged in it in some other way, so that her knowledge is not limited to a theoretical understanding of your operations. A wealth advisor should have a good understanding of international legal and tax issues, as well as strong networking to support the entrepreneur. It is not about throwing a solution to the problem the moment it arises. It is important to know how to search for this solution and what potential pitfalls to pay attention to when finding them. A wealth advisor should possess excellent soft skills, meaning the ability to engage in sensitive, often familial relationships or relationships between partners. Thank you for staying with me until the end. I hope my suggestions will be helpful in your plans to use wealth management or a wealth advisor. And if you already have structures for managing private wealth, believe that there is still room for improvement, and there definitely is. I invite you to subscribe to the Wealth Advisor Maria Panasiuk channel by clicking the button below, and also to comment on the episodes. I will gladly respond to any comments. My channel is available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. I invite you to the next episode next week. See you and have a nice day.